Hello everyone, this is Nana for Tangle Time Arts, and today we're going to take a quick look at poke root and poke leaf. And I love these two because they're a botanical type of tangle and very organic and just very sweet. So you're going to need a black pen, and I'm using an apprentice pen, my favorite, and a number 2 pencil, a tortillon, and a regular tile or piece of computer paper or your sketchbook. Sketchbooks are great if you want to practice doing different shapes or vines or things like that. It's just fun to work out new tangles in a sketchbook. But today I'm using a regular tile, and we're going to get started with the pencil. And we're just going to very lightly, I'm not even going to use a compass or trace around anything round. I'm just going to take the pencil and kind of lightly draw in a circle shape. I'll do it a little darker so that you can see. So I've got my circle shape, but you want to do that very lightly. And then you can put your pen aside and put your pencil aside and pick up your pen. And we're just going to start anywhere along the circle with a curved line. And we're going to start with our poke leaves first. And then we're going to aura that line with another curve. So they're kind of parallel. I'm going to rotate my tile a little bit. And then at the end of that, we're going to do another curve, kind of like a smile or an upside down smile. And then for the poke leaf, you're going to start a little bit on the stem. And we're just putting in like a heart shape. And if it helps you to rotate the tile so that you're working this way, that's fine. But I just kind of work along as my heart desires. And then I'm going to go around the circle and put in more of the poke leaves. So I try to kind of follow the stem. So it came up here, and I'm going to continue on over on the other side. And I'm going to point this stem kind of into the circle there. And then I'm going to add a little smiley face type of thing, and then do my heart shape. If you run into another leaf, you just pick up and air draw over to the other side and keep going. Your leaves do not have to be all the same size. They can be smaller or larger, kind of alternate. Put your little smile on there. And just keep working your way around. Sometimes on the end of a leaf, I like to add a little curl like that just for some interest, but that's optional. And keep working your way around. I'm going to make this leaf a little bit smaller. So with the poke leaf and the poke root, we're definitely using a lot of curves. And I think that's what makes this so simple and fun, is the curves just kind of naturally happen. And then I think we can fit one last one in here. Might be a little bit smaller. And I'm trying to connect with the stem from the first one. That. So we have almost like a wreath of the poke leaf. And they're kind of interconnected and going all the way around. And then to that, we're going to add some of the poke root, which form the perfect little berry or almost like a cherry type of shape. And we start the same way. And I'm going to pick an area that kind of has a lot of space so that it's a little easier. And I see a lot of space in here. So I'm going to put in the stems just like we did for poke leaf and put a little smile in there. But instead of the heart shape, we're just doing a round berry or cherry shape. And that's poke root. So I'm just going to kind of work on the outside for now and put them in randomly where I see some space. And again, if you need to pick up your pen, air draw over to the other side, please do. And the berries don't all have to be the same size. Some can be larger and some can be smaller. But there's no need to stress out and try to make them all the same. And let's see, and put one in here. And we're almost back to where we started. Out. So we've got the poke root on the outside, and there isn't much space on the inside, but we could probably add a couple of them here and there, or parts of them. And I'm going to make them a little smaller. Oh, let's see, we could fit one in here. And let's see, we'll try to fit one in. How about here? All right, so we have our poke leaf and our poke root. For some interest, we can add a little bit of fescue, and that's optional, but I'm just going to add a few of those here and there. And off of this one, I could actually add a little more on the other side. I'm just going to rotate and put them in randomly. fescue kind of reminds me of a little sprout. It's just a curve with a little bit of a, not a dot, but almost like a little bit of a teardrop on the top there. And you could just put them in wherever you feel like you need the added interest. And I think we can add one more here. So we've got some fescue on the outside, and you could add a little bit on the inside as well. Put one there, and then I'll put one here. And it really is just a matter of fitting it in where you see available space. And let's see, I think that's about it. All right. And then we can do some shading with our pencil. So I'll put the cap on my pen, and I'm going to take my pencil, and I like to add shading around the little smile area, but you might also like to add some shading like at the bottom of the poke root. So just the bottoms, and I'm kind of keeping it to the left side there. There are different ways you can shade, and this is just one of them. And then we'll also put a little shading along the smiles of the poke leaves. And we also have some poke root inside. So let's add a little shading to those. And I think that's all of them. And I'm going to take the tortillon now. And I'm just going to lightly blend that for each one, whether it's a leaf or a root. And sometimes I don't work in order. I kind of hop around here and there. So if you prefer to go one by one, that's fine. All right, I think I have all of them. Now, if you would like to add color, this is the point where you could add a little color. If you would prefer not to add color, you could add some shading in here in these areas, or you could add some tipple. I'm actually going to add a little color, and I have a variety of, today I'm using Prismacolors. So I'm going to make the poke root in the Dahlia Purple. So sometimes I'll take I'll take the time to take a little water with a brush and set the pencil. But today I'm just going to lightly go over it with my Prismacolor. I'm just adding a little bit of color here. And I'm just using light circular motions. You might choose a different color, like you might choose red or blue. Or you could have a darker purple color. I just thought adding a little bit of color would be kind of nice. And you don't have to have Prismacolor. Often I'll just use Crayola or whatever brand I have on hand. And let's see, we've got one in here. I tend to focus on the ones that are on the outside. And I think I've got another larger one here. All right, I think I have all of those filled in. And you can actually see the texture of the paper here, which is kind of cool. So if you're using an official Zentangle tile, you can see the texture of the paper. Okay, and then I think I'm going to add on top of that a little bit of the lavender color. And that just kind of softens it and blends it better. So if I have the time, I often like to add a second color. It just makes the colors look richer and fuller. All right, I'm getting a little bit of sun on there. The sun kind of shifted. That's okay. So you can see this one, which I already put the lavender on, has a richer kind of color than this one. And so we'll add the lavender here too. All right, I think I got all of them. And then I am going to add a little bit of green to the poke leaves, and I have spring green here. And I'm just going to work that in the same as I did with the purples. And you can add pressure to fill it in more, but I'm just doing this very lightly because I kind of just want a blush of color. So if you prefer more color, just add some pressure or add a deeper green. I'm just really looking for the slightest bit of color. And then I'm going to go over that with, I could go over that with the yellow, but I think I'll go over that with the chartreuse, which just is just like a shade lighter. And again, that's just to make this a, a richer color. Kind of fills in those gaps that we have a little bit of. And I think we've pretty much made our way around. Like that. So we have our poke leaf and our poke root. I am going to take kind of a greenish brown color called green ochre and just add that to the stems for a little bit of color there. I'm not pressing too hard, but I just feel like the stems need a little bit of color as well, but you could leave them uncolored. So that's a judgment call. It's totally up to you. I like it either way. I kind of like it uncolored. All right, got the stems kind of filled in there. And then something that we could do, let me see if I have a white gel pen. Um, so something that's optional. Let me see if this gel pen works. But if you have a white gel pen, you could add a little bit of highlight. And this is not going to work. Let me see if I can find another one. Well, this doesn't want to cooperate so much, but if your gel pen's not working, sometimes what I use is, oh, it's like a liquid paper, but in a pen form. So you could try that. I don't have that on hand with me. But I am going to add some a little bit of extra besides the fescue. Sometimes I like to add a little bit of um, this is kind of festive. It doesn't really have a name, but I just like to put it in there. I think we made it all the way around. Yeah, so if you have the correction fluid in a pen form, you could add some highlight there. It's just not going to cooperate with me today with the gel pen. I could try, the only other color I have is like a silver, and I could see if that would work a little bit. No, but just doesn't, I think it doesn't like the Prismacolor, which is kind of waxy. But that's okay. It's an experiment that is not happening for me today. Um, but it's still cute. We can put our initials in here. You can put your chop in here. You can either put it in the corner or work it in. I'm gonna put mine in here. I like to tuck mine into the pattern if I can. And then on the back, if you'd like to fill that out with your name and the date, and this was Tangle of the Week, we're on week 9. And we had poke root, that's ROOT, and poke leaf. All right. That's cute. That's sweet. Just a blush of color. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. I love you guys. Bye.